party at STL TV Live. I'm Ivy Hartman, and I'm having a great time here with Catherine Neville of Feast Magazine. Welcome. We want you to have a good time with us. We're really excited to have Catherine here because if you haven't picked up an issue of Feast Magazine, you're really missing out. Catherine, tell us about Feast. How long have you guys been around?
Well, we launched in August of 2010, so about a year and a half.
Yeah,
it's gone so fast. I can't even tell you.
You
It's
almost
been
have a
crazy.
toddler now.
Yeah, exactly. No longer an infant. Now it can walk on its own.
It's amazing. This huge color, cover and the publication that you put out. Where did the idea come from, and what sets you apart from other publications in the St. Louis area?
Well, the way that we approach food, when I created the concept for the magazine, is I wanted it to be very broad-based. I wanted to open the conversation up to more than just foodies, you know, people that that kind of follow food trends almost religiously. What I really wanted to do was make it kind of take a national culinary magazine perspective and apply it locally. So we're talking about not just restaurants and chefs, but also a lot of home cooking. We have wine, beer, and spirits recommendations every month. We talk about kitchen design, gadgets. You know, so basically, even if you go out to dinner only once a month, you're going to be able to apply what it is that we're covering throughout the entire magazine.
Well, you've wet my whistle, and I hope that your whistle is wet because you know what? Don't go anywhere because a little bit later, Catherine's going to have some great trends and tips of great places you might want to visit in the St. Louis area. But in the meantime, let's talk about, we saw some covers of the magazine, the last few covers, and this most recent issue that's out now really intrigued me because you did something very different, like you said, more of a broad-based approach,
Yes.
and the entrepreneurship side of the culinary scene. Talk about that.
So a lot of what we think about is just what arrives on the plate and the atmosphere of the restaurant, but I mean the people that are launching these restaurants, it's an extremely volatile business to be in. It's really difficult to succeed. And so what I wanted to do, because also so much of what brings people to St. Louis is the food scene. You know, if you're trying to attract tourists, if you're talking about why you would choose to live here, stay here, what it is that makes this region vibrant, so much of it is food and alcohol, you know, beer and wine and all this kind of stuff. So, so I gathered together a group of 8 folks that represent everything from architecture, space architects, Tom Niemeyer, to brewers, David Wolf, who's the co-founder of Urban Chestnut, Gerard Kraft, of course, from Niche, Stanley from Robust, and kind of got them around the table, and then we just talked. I mean, the idea, I fed them dinner and fed them wine, and the idea was to open people up to talk about what it is that sets St. Louis apart, and also what it is that helped them launch and sustain their businesses.
Sure. What was most surprising to you that came out of that?
Well, what was interesting, honestly, was how open everybody was to talking about Missouri wine country and how they see that as a tourist destination that's almost kind of not promoted enough. I mean, we've got a wonderful grape and wine board here in Missouri, but as far as like people from Chicago coming down and spending a weekend in wine country, there are not very many parts of the country here. I mean, there's Napa, there's New York, there's Virginia, but here in Missouri, we've got an amazing wine country. And then also, which was a little bit more on the controversial side, but also people talking about the city-county merger and what that meant on their side as far as the business goes.
Interesting. Pick up an issue if you want to know more about that. But the past few issues, all of them have just been amazing. The covers are just usually very mouthwatering. So is that your favorite thing, though, choosing and staging the, really?
The entire thing, the entire creative process is fascinating as far as creating, because the idea of periodical literature is that you always have an editorial perspective, but each month it's a new creation. I mean, you don't start with anything until you kind of start really putting it together. And so we have an amazing group of contributors. My managing editor, Brandy Wells, art director, Lisa Striefbach, online editor, Kristen, and then we've got all these amazing freelancers, writers and photographers and editors and copywriters that all come together to make the issue happen.
And it is amazing. And I forgot to mention that this most recent issue in the roundtable is also video. So you can also go to your website and view some of the video of this roundtable and some of the interviews with some of those entrepreneurs. Really fabulous.
Thank you.
She's going to be back, so don't go anywhere. But if you want more info, feaststl.com. Hey, you can pick up a copy at locations all around St. Louis. Guess what, people? Free. Free. awesome. And we're going to be back with Catherine in a little bit. She's going to give us some great tips of some fabulous places you might want to try and sample around St. Louis. And speaking of sampling St. Louis, we really think experiencing St. Louis is all about the food, the wine, the culture. And STL TV tries to help you experience all the great events around St. Louis. In order to help you do that, you should friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also stream everything we do on our own website, stltv.net. Keep it locked right here. We'll be back more with Catherine Neville right after this.